Here are 12 online reviews of the audiobook titled, The Gifts of Imperfection. Written and narrated by Brené Brown. 1. Not for me. Clearly many people love this book, unfortunately I cannot count myself among them. I found it to be superficial, surface level, and more about the author's feelings and experiences than as a guide to help another person improve themselves or their self-perspective. I found something much closer to what I needed in Soundtracks by John Acuff, in the event you are in a similar boat. 2. Whiny and awful. I've tried to listen to this, I don't know how many times, and I've yet to make it more than an hour. Which is almost a quarter of the way in and she's still aimlessly rambling and I still haven't gleaned one piece of useful information. I'll be returning this title and looking elsewhere, because this book, read by the author herself mind you, is pretty much unbearable. 3. I literally bought a summary to not read this. This book is awful and was required for a college course. This book is full of anecdotes with very little to back it up. If you don't subscribe to Judeo-Christian values, this book is not for you. It is in no way a secular book. The author barely tries to cover this by using the word spirituality. At one point she says that she judges the spiritual health of her family by how much dancing they do. I have no words for how unhelpful this book was to a secular humanist. I actually would have liked the book better, if she was more forward with how her Catholicism affects her worldview and beliefs. 4. This is an audiobook, not a podcast, right? I couldn't even get through the first half hour. Brené should have let someone else narrate this book for her. She's constantly stumbling over her words trying to read what she's written. There's so much made-up mumbo-jumbo that I've already lost sight of what she's even talking about. Boring and not helpful. Sorry I wasted my credit. 5. Anecdotal storytelling. Woof. After slogging through a 15-minute author's note, then a 13-minute preface, then an 11-minute introduction, filled with active voice overkill and personal stories, I was happy to arrive at what I thought was going to be the meat of story and some research, etc. After about 30 minutes into the actual book, that is post all the intro stuff, I finally snapped and had to bail. More anecdotal storytelling? Arg. At 69 minutes in I was still waiting for the book to start, lol. It's all just kind of a semi-narcissistic, preachy memoir mess up, to that point, and I suspect more of the same after. I found the author through her famous YouTube TED Talk, which was great, but this book, at least as far as I got in it, was brutal. 6. Political. I love Brené Brown. Her previous books left me feeling empowered and humbled, peaceful and excited for my new awareness. I stopped reading almost immediately when she discussed the political situation. I read to escape from negativity, not to feel small and helpless. 7. Authentic living. This book of 10 guideposts has made me think of shame and authenticity in really different ways. As Brené says, shame wants to be our secret. When we live authentic and we give voice to our imperfections, we take the power away from shame and leave way for us to be 100% authentic in our own lives. We also attract the people that are best in our circle when we live our true and authentic life. This has changed my view on myself, my family, my relationship with my kids, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. I think I may send it to my girlfriends as gifts. 8. Life-changing. First of all, if you've never read or listened to anything by Brené Brown before, be warned, you won't be the same person you were when you started. The practice of cultivating and living a wholehearted life as outlined in this book has enlightened my soul. I have never paused a book so many times to laugh, cry and swear so loudly I scare my dog on our walks. I am so beyond thankful for this piece of literature and will carry the lessons I've learned with me through this life. Thank you Brené for being a digital mentor and friend, even if it's a one-sided conversation. 9. Much needed. Many people recommended this book to me, but I was very reluctant to start. After reading it, I now know why. I feel like this book was written by and for me. I grew up in a home with perfectionist parents, became a successful overachiever and wore myself out. I'm on the verge of retirement and am excited, and scared, to embrace wholehearted living and practice self-care. I am particularly hopeful my children will benefit from a perfectly imperfect mom. I need to reread this book regularly. 10. Honest, heartwarming, and soulful. I loved this book for its very real and authentic message. Let's play it forward. I want to share it with everyone I love and some people I find harder to love. It took me years of therapy and living to develop some sense of these wholehearted qualities. Thank you, Brené, for your vulnerability and courage. An alternate title could be The Gifts of Brené. 11. Eye-opening. This should be compulsory read/listen and subject of study at high school and university on how to function and thrive as humans in a society, along with other essential reads. For a 40-something, some of this is not so groundbreaking and more. I wish I had learned this through Brené in my 20s and not in my 30s after much suffering. Other times the reflections are mainly relevant for the individualistic entrepreneurial, dog-eat-dog US mainstream society, a blind spot worth exploring in future versions. That said, all of it is worth a listen, some chapters more than once. It would be great if Brené could expand her research to understand nuances and implications for other cultures within and outside the US. 12. The best book ever. Seriously though, I think this is my favorite book I've ever listened to. Def in the top 3. Moved me to tears multiple times because it was so honest. I love the storytelling aspects of it and the action steps you can actually put into place. This is the real deal. Brené Brown is a true national treasure with her work. I'm so grateful. This book has already changed my life. Get the book. Implement the ideas in it and it will change your life too. Now let's get on with some wholehearted living, folks. Thank you for watching. Please, do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Tune in for more online audiobooks reviews.